You know that feeling, right? When everything, it's just too much?
And you start forcing it. You can literally feel yourself wrestling with a thought, trying to jam it into a box where it makes some kind of sense. And the result? A heavy mind. That's what you're left with. But what if? What if we could take a phrase that we usually save for, well, the very end, and flip it on its head? What if we could use it to live better? That's what we're going to dive into today. How to find that peace, not after life, but right in the middle of it. All right, so let's start there. Let's talk about that heavy mind. I think it's a feeling we're all unfortunately pretty familiar with. So, what does that actually feel like day to day? Well, it's that constant overthinking, right? It's when your emotions are just dialed up to 11 and suddenly everything feels urgent. You find yourself trying to decode every little interaction, every email, and all it does is create this storm inside your head where finding any real clarity feels completely impossible. Okay, but here's where things get interesting. We're going to take that phrase, rest in peace, and completely redefine it. We're going to give it a new job, a really practical one for our everyday lives. I mean, just look at the difference here. The old way we think about it, it's all about the end, the absence of activity. But this new meaning, it's about finding a mind at ease while we're still going, while life is happening. It's not about stopping your life, it's about stopping that inner chaos, that mental static. So let's nail this down. What is this living state of rest and peace? It's a state where your mind just isn't overloaded anymore. You're not chasing down every single thought. You're not trying to force answers. It's really simple. You're just calm, clear, and present. That's the destination. Okay, sounds great, right? But how do we actually get there? Well, this isn't just some nice sounding concept. There's a real, practical framework, a super simple 3-step method to help us find that ease. All right, let's break it down. Step 1, pause. And this is so important. You don't fight your thoughts. You just stop feeding them. Stop adding pressure. Just stop forcing it. Then step 2, rest. Actual sleep is the gold standard here if you can. But honestly, even just stepping away, grabbing a coffee, taking a walk, anything to create a little bit of distance. And finally, step 3 is to return. You come back to whatever you were thinking about, but, and this is the key, with zero pressure to solve it right then and there. And when you come back to it, you're not demanding an answer from yourself. You're just asking gently. You're kind of checking in with the idea. Hey, does this still make sense? Does this still connect naturally? It's a gentle inquiry, not an interrogation. So, what's the point of all this? What's the payoff? What actually changes when you come back after that period of rest? Because this, right here, is where the magic happens. It's like night and day. Before you rest, your mind is a tornado. It's loud, everything feels urgent, you're trying to force connections that just aren't there. But after, that same mind is calm. It's clearer, thinking is simple again, and understanding, it just flows. It feels natural, not like something you had to build by force. And this leads to a really profound idea. We're taught that more thinking, more grinding, that's how you build great ideas. And sure, that's part of it. But rest is what reveals the truth that's already there. It's not passive. It's a crucial, active part of the process of finding clarity. Okay, so this all boils down to one single, powerful idea. This is the core principle that makes this whole thing work. And here it is. This is the big truth. You simply cannot force clarity. It's not something you create with more effort. Real insight shows up in the quiet space you make when all that unnecessary mental noise finally dies down. It's about taking away, not adding more. So remember this? After you've paused, after you've rested, what remains clear is real.